the table.
Hello, everybody. No, it's not there. So much stuff everywhere. And my sister's staying with us, and everything is everywhere, and nobody has a clue where anything is. We all just threw it all together over here. It's not up there, hon. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Yeah, I had it on mute. Thank you, sis, for letting me know.
What color is it?
Pink.
Pink. Okay. That helps.
I don't know where it went. Not a clue.
I don't know why you keep track of your stuff.
Usually I do. Anyways, good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, AA Day. So, let me fix my Facebook thing over here. Sorry, guys. Okay. Yeah, so it is AA Day. It's been crazy over here in my neck of the woods. My sister's still staying with us. Hopefully we can figure out what's going on down there and maybe get stuff going for them. Anyways, again, it's AA, so everything's got to be crazy today, of course. If you're new here, welcome. Please feel free to be in the chat if you want. Just be no judging each other in the comments or the chats, and be kind to each other. And that's all I ask. And so let's get on with the meeting, shall we? God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. You guys, the only thing I needed this mouse for was to put in there.
Well, no, it needs to be found. That's why I'm looking for it.
I just was gonna put it in my chat because I put in there the link so people can come up if they want. Anyways, I'm Sandra and I'm an alcoholic, and I always put in the description what we're reading, the book, story, step, tradition, what have you, whatever it is.
It sits out here.
And sometimes I just like to just do an open meeting where I share my story because nobody else comes up when I can put the link in the chat. Anyways, but it's all good. 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Right? Yeah. It takes a while to
Instead
find
of that going in the bedroom, if you're not going to use it, put it down there on the bottom with this, so that way that doesn't get lost. It was under the chair in there. I remember she had it in there for a little while when you guys first moved in. So.
Well,
There we go.
Huh?
There's the link. Anyways, 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity.
Go away, I'm not
3.
hearing. Sorry.
Made our decision to turn our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. 4. made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defective characters. 7. Humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a searching to the mall and I just went black. Hopefully this thing does not kick me off today. I might be on my sister's internet. I don't know why, because there's nobody at her house. They're all up here. They made a list of all persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continue to take personal inventory and when wrong, promptly admit it. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. And into the traditions, because we are doing traditions right now. 1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God, as He may express Himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. 3. The only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. 4. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5. Each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6. An AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facilities or outside enterprises, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8. Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9. AA as such never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. And we are on tradition 9, on page 172. I don't know of any other editions, so I think it's on the same page. I could be wrong. Like if you're in another country or something else. Yeah, your books are in the pod. 9. AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. When Tradition 9 was first written, its said that Alcoholics Anonymous needs the least possible organization. In years since then, we have changed our minds about that. Today, we are able to say with assurance that Alcoholics Anonymous, AA as a whole, should never be organized at all. Then, in seeming contradiction, we proceed to create special service boards and committees which in themselves are organized. How then can we have an unorganized movement which can and does create a service organization for itself? Scanning this puzzler, people say, what do they mean, no organization? Well, let's see. Did anyone ever hear of a nation, a church, a political party, even a I don't know how to say that word. Benefit association that had no membership rules? Couldn't somehow discipline its members and enforce obedience to necessary rules and regulations? Doesn't nearly every society on earth give authority to some of its members to impose obedience upon the rest and to punish or expel offenders? Therefore, every nation, in fact, every form of society, has to be a government administered by human beings. Power to direct or govern is the essence of organization everywhere. Yet Alcoholics Anonymous is an exception. It does not conform to this pattern. Neither its General Service Conference, its foundation board, nor the Hamlet Group Committee can issue a single directive to an AA member and make it stick, let alone make out any punishment. We've tried it lots of times, but utter failure is always the result. Groups have tried to expel members, but the banished have come back to sit in the meeting place saying, "This is life for us. You can't keep us out." Committees have instructed me and AA to stop working on a chronic backslider, only to be told, how I do my 12-step work is my business. Who are you to judge? This doesn't mean an AA won't take advice or suggestions from more experienced members, but he surely won't take orders. Who is more unpopular than the old-time AA, full of wisdom, who moved to another area and tried to tell the group there how to run its business? He and all like him who view with alarm for the good of AA meet the most stubborn resistance, or worse still, laughter. You might think AA's headquarters in New York would be an exception. Surely the people there would have to have some authority, but long ago trustees and staff members alike found they could do no more than make suggestions, and very mild ones at that. They even had to coin a couple of sentences which still go into half the letters they write. Of course, you are a, at perfect liberty to handle this matter any way you please. But the majority experience in AA does seem to suggest now that attitude is far removed from central government, isn't it? We recognize that alcoholics can't be dictated to individually or collectively. At this juncture, we can hear a churchman exclaim, "They are making disobedience a virtue." He is joined by a psychiatrist who says, "Defiant brats, they won't grow up and conform to social usage." The man in the street says, "I don't understand it. They must be nuts." But all these observers have overlooked something unique in Alcoholics Anonymous. Unless each AA member follows to the best of his ability our suggested 12 steps to recovery, he almost certainly signs his own death warrant. His drunkenness and dissolution are not penalties inflicted by people in authority. They result from his personal disobedience to spiritual principles. The same stern threat applies to the group itself, unless there is approximate conformity to AA's 12 traditions. The group too can deteriorate and die. So we and ultimately so we of AA do obey spiritual principles, first because we must, and ultimately because we love the kind of life such obedience brings. Great suffering and great love are AA's disciplinarians. We need no other. It is clear now that we ought never to name boards to govern us, but it is equally clear that we shall always need to authorize workers to serve us. It is the difference between the spirit and vested authority and the spirit of service. Two concepts which are sometimes poles apart. It is in the spirit of service that we elect the AA group's informal rotating committee, the intergroup association for the area, and the General Service Conference of Alcoholics Anonymous for AA as a whole. Even our foundation, once an independent board, is today directly accountable to our fellowship. Its trustees are the caretakers and expediters of our world service. Just as the aim of each AA member is personal sobriety, the aim of our service is to bring sobriety within reach of all who want it. If nobody does the group chores, if the area telephones ring unanswered, if we do not reply to our mail, then AA as we know it would stop. Our communications line with those who need our help would be broken. AA has to function, but at the same time it must avoid those dangers of great wealth prestige, and entrenched power, which necessarily tempt other societies. Though Tradition 9 at first sight seems to deal with a purely practical matter, it is actual operation. It discloses a society without organization, animated only by the spirit of service, a true fellowship. I think I'm going to read 10. Yeah, 10 short. Okay. Tradition 10. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. Never since it began has Alcoholics Anonymous been divided by a major controversial issue, nor has a fellowship ever publicly taken sides on any question in an embattled world. This, however, has been no earned virtue. It could almost be said that we were born with it. For as one old-timer recently declared, practically never had I heard a heated religion, political, or reform argument among AA members. So long as we don't argue these matters privately, it's a cinch we never shall publicly. As by some deep insist, we AAs have known from the very beginning that we must never, no matter what, then provocation, publicly take sides in any fight, even a worthy one. All history affords us the spectacle of striving nations and groups finally torn asunder because they were designed for our tempted into controversy. Others fell apart because of sheer self-righteousness, while trying to enforce upon the rest of mankind some millennium of their own specification. In our own times, we have seen millions pass in political and economic wars, often spurred by religious and racial differences. We live in the imminent possibility of a fresh Holocaust to determine how men shall be governed, and how the product of nature and toil shall be divided among them. That is the spiritual climate in which AA was born, and by God's grace has nevertheless flourished. Let us re-empathize that this reluctance to fight one another or anybody else is not counted as some special virtue which makes us feel superior to other people, nor does it mean that the member of Alcoholics Anonymous, now restored as citizens of the world, are going to back away from their individual responsibility to act as they see the right upon issue of our time. But when it comes to AA as a whole, that's quite a different matter. In this respect, we do not enter into public controversy because we know that our society will perish if it does. We conceive the survival and spread of Alcoholics Anonymous to be something of a far greater importance than the weight we could collectively throw back of any other cause. Since recovery from alcoholism is life itself to us, it is imperative that we preserve in full strength our means of survival. Maybe this sounds as though the alcoholics in AA had suddenly gone peaceable and become one great big happy family. Of course, this isn't so at all. Human beings that we are, we squabble before we leveled off a bit. AA looked more like one prognosis squabble than anything else, at least on the surface. A corporation director who had just voted a company expediter of $100,000 would appear at an AA business meeting and blown his top over an outlay of $25 worth of needed postage stamps. Disliking the attempt of some to manage a group, half its membership might angrily rush off to form another group more to their liking. Others temporarily turn bases have sulked. Bitter attacks have been directed against people suspected of mixed motive. Despite their din, our puny rose never did AA a practical of harm. They were just part and parcel of learning to work and live together. Let it be noted, too, that they were almost always concerned with ways to make AA more effective, how to do the most good for the most alcoholics. The Washingtonian Society, a movement among alcoholics which started in Baltimore a century ago, almost discovered the answer to alcoholism. At first, the society was composed entirely of alcoholics trying to help one another. The early members foresaw that they should dedicate themselves to this sole aim. In many respects, the Washingtonians were akin to AA of today. Their membership passes the 100,000 mark. Had they been left to themselves and had they stuck to their one goal, they might have found the rest of the answer. But this didn't happen. Instead, the Washingtonians permitted politicians and reformers, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, to use the society for their own purposes. Abolition of slavery, for example, was a stormy political issue then. Soon, Washingtonian speakers violently and publicly took sides on this question. Maybe the society could have survived the abolition controversy, but it didn't have a chance from the moment it determined to reform Americans' drinking habits. When the Washingtonians became temperance crusaders, within a very few years they had completely lost their effectiveness in helping alcoholics. The lesson to be learned from the Washingtonians was not overlooked by Alcoholics Anonymous. As we surveyed the wreck of the movement, early AA members resolved to keep our society out of public controversy. Thus was laid the cornerstone for Tradition 10. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name never be drawn into public controversy. And I can vouch that for sure we do not discuss political, religion, or any of those other things that has nothing to do with AA as a whole. We don't speak about those things, and we don't draw AA into the public controversy because we all have different opinions on things. And now, every now and then, I do talk to my sponsor because something will irk me about something, and I just blurt it out, not thinking, but also not too worried, because I use my voice for a lot of things. And when I have an opinion on something, I want to ask somebody. Usually I'll run it by my sponsor first. And if I see her react a certain way, then I'm like, okay, I can talk about this with her because we both share a lot of the same views on things. But we don't discuss things like that in AA, at meetings, around meetings, not at all. And it does keep it to where we are still focused on the one primary purpose, and that's the desire to not drink. And that's why we go to meetings, that's why we do meetings, why I started my meetings, because, I was given the gift to give back for free. And, I take this my service work, and I do service work not just here, but everywhere, because I'm not shy about being a recovering alcoholic. As you can tell, I'm on social media. Not a lot of people have the courage to go online and do meetings and whatever. But I found my calling to use my sobriety and voice it. Not everybody has the same story. We all differ in many ways, but we all still have that one purpose, and that's the desire to not drink. I've been watching some videos here and there on my social medias, and when I come across the ones that are talking about sobriety, now they may not be talking about alcohol, they might be talking about other, but it is the same purpose of being sober and finding that sobriety and listening to other people's stories on social media, which there's not a lot of us that are willing to go out there on a whim and talk about it and share our stories and how we get sober and how we've stayed sober. And like me, a lot of them get emotional on it, and it's just something that has become a major part of who I am as a sober person, learning to live life on life terms daily, using your steps every single day in everything you do. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. I don't work my steps every single day. I probably should be saying more prayers for people, and like I said, we're not perfect. We're just trying to stay sober, and having meetings available everywhere is a godsend because I can look up a meeting anywhere I'm at and go to a meeting, and even if I don't understand the language, I could still go to that meeting and understand exactly what they're talking about, even though I don't understand the language. And it's from being in and knowing that that's what it's for. And that's why I'm there. And so many of you know that my sister and her husband have been displaced from their home for the time being. We don't know how long it's going to be. Um, I'm just glad that I was able to, well, my husband and I, and I'm not even going to include the kid, but I'm glad that we were able to come to an agreement that they could come stay here because their stuff is here. Their dog knows this place. Um, they're more than able to do what they need to do here and use the laundry facility here and use the restroom whenever they want, take a shower anytime they want, take a bath, take a nap. um, I do need to give her my key though because I haven't done that yet. So one of these days Will's gonna come in the middle of the night and not be able to get in, so I need to let him take my key because my key does me no good right now because my key pod for my car don't work, so it's just hanging up. So anytime I go anywhere other than maybe walking, but that's usually if my son's here, um, I have to use his key for the car because my key don't work. Um, but so we're able to help them out. It's crowded a little bit. I mean, there's two more people and another dog that we're all still trying to get used to the situation, and we make it work. And I feel grateful that I was able to let them stay here and be close to home and um, not take their dog to some strange place that she's not used to being. I mean, she knows my parents' place, but she doesn't relax at all at my parents' house. Constantly trying to chase the cat, and the cat ain't having it. But, so yeah, I'm glad that we're able to have them here, and Pippi is doing okay, and her and Ryder are getting along just great. They play, and play some more. And, yeah, it's definitely different. It's a house full, but I have a link in my, uh, on my community tab for their GoFundMe if you have a few bucks. No amount is too small. Um, please keep them in your prayers, and they're gonna be all right. Um, but on another note, I'm going out of town. I cannot wait for tomorrow because I need a break from here. Being in the city is not what I want to be in. I do not like being in the city at all. I'd rather be in the woods, but unfortunately, this is where we're at. In the city. Smack dab on county lines, everywhere. But we're making it work. Um, yeah, so I also have the GoFundMe on my Facebook page. I don't know if it's seeable by everybody. It might be only seeable by my friends. So I don't know. And the smoke is kind of clearing out now, so maybe I can get back out there and do some walking. Um, the fire up on Mount Hood is 20% contained, I think, is what I heard. So, but yeah, all the places up there, meadows and everything, is all closed, or at least they were earlier, because of the smoke. They didn't want people coming up there and getting in the bad smoke. So it is on fire up there, and uh, praying it doesn't take out my favorite campground, but you know, if it does, it does. And I don't know where they are. Oh, she has them outside. I forgot. My sister took Ryder out with her. But anyway, so sobriety is a better life. It is not all fun and games. It is a lot of work. Um, you have to do it for the right reason, and what I tell everybody the right reason is for yourself. Be selfish and do it for yourself. Because until you can do this for yourself, you can't do very much else. And that's what I tell my sponsees that have moved on, except for my sister. My sister is my sponsee. So, but, so my sponsor and my sponsee is in my chat. But I tell all of them that the reason to get sober is for you, and you can't do it for any other reason. It has to be for that. And it gets easier to work it every day without even realizing it. And but anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and say goodnight, and I love you guys. Remember, there's help everywhere, and you're not alone. There is absolutely. I'm not sponsored by Google, but Google AA meetings or NA meetings, they're everywhere, and you can call them. But yeah, definitely worth getting sober. Um, but anyways, I love you guys. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back. It works if you work it. Love you guys.